Okay, John in Wyoming, got your new radio here. So let's have a quick peek. Here it is right there. So I'll come back and get it out and just touch on one quick thing. Okay, so it does come with the programming cable. Looks like these are the newer ones. So these will work on Windows 11 and I believe also on Windows 10. I can't confirm that they work on Windows 10 because I've never tried one. There's a different style cable, it's more rounded. Those definitely work on Windows 10 but don't work on Windows 11. So this one, I'm assuming because it works on 11, it would also work on 10. So that's the one thing I wanted to touch on. So that's pretty cool that they included those. I wasn't aware that they did. So I haven't heard from anybody that guys that are running Windows 10 that I guess maybe the cable doesn't work on that, so I'm assuming that it does. And if you have Mac or something, I'm not sure if any of these cables work on that because I've never had a Apple style computer. I've always had Windows. Yeah, one other thing to address, the mic plug on these is 4-pin. It is standard except for the 4th pin has bias, which means there's voltage present there. So what I would recommend if you're not going to run the factory mic, which a lot of guys don't, is either go on eBay. There's a seller on eBay that sells an adapter. It's like one of these kind of adapters, like one of these, except it's not this one, of course. It's a 4-to-4, and basically all they do is probably get the one that was made for 4-pin Cobra to 4-pin Midland and probably just rewire this side of it. I'm assuming that's what they do because the Midland has a different pin out than what Uniden Cobra does, but they do have a 4-pin Cobra to Midland. I have one of those somewhere, so I can't tell you the specific who it is that's selling it or anything, but it is on eBay. It's not specifically for this radio, but it does work for this radio. I don't remember. I think they say it's like CRE 8900 or something, but if you don't want to do that, any microphone that you run will have a standard 4-pin cord. You can either take the plug apart and take away the 4th wire off your mic cord, or do it at the mic inside your mic, but you have to do something because you don't want to just have a standard 4-pin mic wired up and plug it into this, because the RX wire will ground that voltage and it's not good for your mic or this radio. So that's something that I always forget to address, but I need to address it sometimes. This isn't anything new. I mean, these Quad 5 type radios have been out for many years and they've always been like that. So Top Gun technology was the same way. And the one thing, let me get this back on the, I'll get that little stand and we'll get it squared away. I think actually, yeah, I'm using one of those on this because I have the battery eliminator done on this one. And at times when I don't want to run that mic, I can run a normal mic with it because I have I have 8 volts coming out of pin 4, so this is very much a biased pin. The voltage out of the normal radio is a little bit lower. I think it's 2 or 3 volts or something, but it's still enough to cause damage. But this totally stops the bias. It doesn't pass through. To be honest, I can't find the 6-pin mic that I modified to work with this radio, and that's why I put that on there. So that's one of my own problems is, I can't find my mic. But let me get this back on this, and we'll get it fired up, and I want to ask a quick question to the radio users of the world. Alright, so you see an old radio here, an old radio here, an old radio here. The theme is I kind of been enjoying some older radios lately, and the question I'm wondering is, let's go back to the other radio, but you can see I'm enjoying some older radios at times, and I do actually enjoy using them a lot. This one I just acquired. It's a really cool one. It does have a striker meter. It's a 497 meter in there. So my friend, he sent me some meters. I'm hoping that one of the inserts will work and I can take this one out and put like a Washington style insert in, but that's not really the purpose of what I'm about to ask. So we all know, like, this is basically like an old, like a Quad 5 design, that the old Quad 5, Anytone Quad 5. I never had an original Anytone Quad 5 or any of the other variants ever. I just really wasn't into the radio hobby at that time, I guess, when they first came out. But we all know there was an original Anytone Quad 5N, also not like this, but the N, that looks like the N2, but the N. And I still have one somewhere, which is still like brand new, I think. I thought that I had sold it, but I actually found it the other day in storage. So what I was wondering is who in the radio hobby would still have like an original Quad 5 that looks like this, but it would say, like, I think they said like 10-meter radio, not the Plus. And we're talking 10 plus years ago or more, or like an original Quad 5N. Does anyone still have one that you actually still use? Like, do they still work in 2025? I'm just trying to understand, the longevity of radios made by, the Shishang, however you want to say it, the Quicksang, the factory in China. Like, what is the longevity of the radios? Do they last? Let's say, I don't know when the original Quad 5 was made. Was it made in like 2005 to 2010, or the Quad 5N? I know that they quit selling the Quad 5N shortly before the Quad 5N2 first came out, but it was on the market for a long time. And we all know the Quad 6 is discontinued now, but I know they did tons and tons of sales on those, and I'm sure guys are still using those. But what about the other radios that they made? Like, did they not last? Did they get burned up? Did people try to do bad modifications to them and make them stop working? Because we all know, you really, in the grand scheme of things, with all of the the information that they won't share, no schematics, no service manual, stuff like that, it really becomes like, if the radio develops a problem, it basically, unless you really know how to diagnose the circuit of those older models and stuff, they just become like a paperweight. Is that what a lot of guys did with them? Like, if you had one and one day it just quit working or something broke on it, you just scrapped it? Because I never hear of anyone talking on like older Anytone radios from way before, like, the new boards and all that. We're talking at least 10 years or more. What happened to all those radios? Because, I mean, we can go back over here. Now, this is a later Zachary T. I think they stopped making the President sometime in the 80s and went to Uniden. I don't know exactly the history of why President left the U.S. market, but I've been told it, and I'm not going to get into all that. But I know there was a time where President left the U.S. market, and then this became Uniden, and I think instead of it saying anything here, they took it off of here and made it say Uniden up here or something. But I think it was the same radio. A 3-button Zachary T Uniden, I think, is the same radio as this. This is not the 858, that's the 2-button. So this is the later model, but I want to say this is probably still like 1980s or something. So we're talking 1980s. Let's say it's 1980. So that's 45 years old. We can see that this radio works, and it hasn't been highly modified or anything. Yeah, the meter windows changed, but that's really it. I mean, the radio still works fine today with the original capacitors. Will I recap it someday? Yeah, I probably will, just for fun, but right now it doesn't really need it. This is a little bit newer radio, probably in the 1990s, but it still works fine. The capacitors are factory. This is probably 1990s also. You can see kind of the similarities of what they were using for colored fascias between these two, probably in the same era. This was just a CV, this was an export. But, these old radios still work. So what does that say? That's the question I have, and it's really been bothering me in my mind. Like, why do we see so many older radios still on the market? And the only thing I can think is maybe because there was service data that was released. Like, this was in the SAMS books, I actually just got the manual for this off the SAMS website the other day. But why is it that these old radios still work fine, but we never hear anything about the older Anytone made radios? So that's it. That's the question I had. Okay, so on to this one. So if you're in Europe, you guys would know more about the DX5000 before it was the Plus, I think. I think the Plus meant it has the new board in it. And they have different variations of the new board. They've updated them. I think this is the third variation of this radio with the new board. So I'm sure eventually they'll probably order some new variations that'll have a shorter case and stuff, because I think that's already present in some of the other models. But I don't know. I kind of like the long case. It feels more like a radio to me. And like I say, I've modified mine a little bit over here. So But anyway, sorry about wasting everybody's time. It's just a question I had that's been I've been wondering. So I'm gonna put this through its paces really quick, and then I'll come back and show you the power and stuff. Okay, here's our transmit frequency. So here's our oscilloscope. Put the tone in. So you can probably hear the tone through my monitor radio. So it's about 72%. This is low power, so it's 1 watt. So we're going to bump up the audio some. Okay, let's kill the tone for a second. So according to my scope, which I do trust this more than what I see on the spectrum analyzer for a percentage of modulation, because that doesn't really read over 100. When that shows over 100, you're in full distortion. So I like to look at the scope and use that for a better measurement. But anyways, there's our 2 divisions. So we're probably, what about each one of these little notches is 20%, so we're probably around 120, 30, maybe. See if I can stop it. Maybe 130% right now, so that's not too bad, you know. It looks really nice. I don't know if you saw that or not. You can go like that and look at it. So really nice. So these are great sounding radios. That's why I got one sitting on my desk here, because I do enjoy talking on it. I just have so many other ones that I enjoy talking on too that sometimes it's difficult. You gotta give everything its due process. So it's about 8 watts on high power, and you can use the variable and adjust it anywhere from 1 to 8. So this is saying about 86% right now there, but I would say we're a little over 100, but our negatives are a little low, you know. So again, mic plug came undone, so I'll give it just a little bit increase here. It's looking pretty mean there. Probably too much though. Yeah, it's starting to compress. So I'm gonna back it off just a little bit. That's better. So let's go like that. And let's see. That's probably about the same on the percentage. Over here it shows about 98%. So different way to look at it, but let's zoom up a little bit and take a look. Yeah, it looks really good. So definitely not pinching off or anything. It's nice and smooth. So that's how it should look, and it's super easy. Sideband on these, I really don't have to do anything on these. These are pretty good. I found that the later versions like this one are much better than what they used to be. So that's pretty much it. As far as that goes, it's super easy. I did program in some features for you. Let me kill that. So you do have the ability to go up to 605, and you can use this clarifier. You can tell it if you want it to R and T together. A lot of guys like to leave it in R and T together. Otherwise, you have a separate for receive. And then if you key up and you start to move the clarifier, you can select transmit by making one of these blank, and then when you transmit and you move this, it'll move that number. Or if you were to transmit and move it, it would move that number. So like you can see 27604. Oops, the mic's not plugged in. Let me demonstrate that. So it's receiving down, but watch when I key up. So, and if you don't want that SWR to come on, you can shut that off in the menu. There's another SWR option, which is here. Whoops, that's timeout timer off. Leave that on. You can decide if you want that on. Just by pressing that, this now becomes your SWR. 1 bar is good. That means you're flat. If you start seeing more boxes here, that's bad. So I'm actually going to shut that function off in the menu so I can demonstrate what I wanted to show you. Clarifiers and R and T together, which is fine. If you don't want that, you can switch it. Right, where is it? Yeah, right here. So we can go transmit frequency. You can see now, well, because it's an R and T together, it moves both. But there's other ways to do it where you can set this clarifier up different. So when it's an R and T together, whatever you change it to, it's going to change on transmit as well. So, but if you didn't have that like that, say you have it in R only, then there's ways to do it where you can still shift and transmit. It takes a little bit of practice, but you can get it. But for most intents and purposes, most guys will do just fine in R and T together. You know, you can go like that, and then you're transmitting there too. So it's totally up to how they want to configure it. Doesn't matter if this isn't at 12 o'clock. This isn't a Cobra 148 or something where it has a clarifier like that. This clarifier is also almost like a VFO in some cases. So it's a little more complex, but it's not really that hard. On this band, you can go up into 10 meter if you have a license and all that stuff. It'll go up to 505. On A band, you have your UK FM band. You have to change all these to a 5. You'd have to go through and go like this. The radio won't let me program it. I try to, but it always defaults to the 0. So the first 40 are the UK FM band, and then the last part is 12 meter amateur if you have a license. So that stuff's all pre-programmed for you if you want to use it. This band is here, and let's go to 20. And let's just show you the power really quick, and then I'm going to get out of here with this one. So we are using the NM532 mic, and that's our power from an 8-watt carrier. Or 8 watts or so right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check, check. Okay. We'll roll that all the way down. This is the mic that I'm using. I'm super low on, I don't have any 6 pins left. I think I have a couple of the 4 pins left. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, check, check. So even at the 1 watt, you can see that this radio has a lot of swing, so it does pretty good for a low wattage. You know, you still get some pretty good swing out of it. Turn that back up, and then sideband on this. Sideband on this is about, you know, somewhere in the 40s, close to 50. So it definitely does fine, you know, for what it is. And if you want less power, you can just turn that RF power control down. So one thing you'll notice though, when you have the SWR feature on the front, you will not get any SRF. So if you don't want that, just press that button, and now you're going to see an SRF on the display. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, check, check. And if you want that back, which normally that's how I send it out with that on, I'll just go back in and turn that back on for you, which is SR. This is voltage. If you want to see your voltage, every time you key up it will show you voltage, but SR will come on the screen now and it shows you. And a big number, what your SWR is, the protection set to 3.0, so if you go over that, it should trigger the radio to stop transmitting immediately. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They're pretty fun radio to use. I really like using mine. Like I say, I put an XT90 plug on the back of mine. I put a max mod in it, which really wasn't that big of a improvement or anything. I put some other caps in the audio section, which I didn't really find that did a whole lot either, but it was fun. Something, little project I did one night. The XT90 made a little bit of a difference, more voltage going in the radio and stuff, more current. I'm not really looking to do that stuff to make money though. That's just kind of me as a hobbyist doing that stuff, so that's why I haven't offered anything. Same with the battery eliminator mod. I can show anybody they want, if they want to do it themselves. I don't really want to really do it at this time for profit or anything like that. If somebody's interested in how to do the battery eliminator on this, I can show you, because I have it done on this one. And I just got to find the mic, because when I can find the mic, I have one of these that's the 6-pin variant, or the 4-pin variant, but there's no battery inside of it because I'm taking voltage from the 8-volt regulator right through the pin 4 is what I used. So the mic works without a battery in it, which is kind of cool. But whatever mic you use, just heed my advice in the beginning of the video, and you should be all set. Let me give you a quick receive check. Okay, so we're just going to talk on my Zachary that I showed you guys. So hello 1 2, hello 1 2 3, hello 1 2 3, check check. So it's definitely picking up some good receive from this dummy load, and I'll give you a quick sensitivity check really quick, and that's it. Okay, so these are factory set to minus 67 on S9, and that's what, or yeah, S9. That's what we got there, so we're good. We'll see where it pops in at 12 dB at. Usually about 93, 94 on all these kind of radios. I found that my Zachary was about 91, which really ain't too bad for an older radio. I didn't try to tune the receiver or anything like that. I just left it the way it is. It's good enough for me. I don't need to hear everything. So there's 12 dB right there, which is good. Alright, we'll go to upper sideband and turn the tone off and go to 206. There's the tone coming through again. Well, minus 128 again, so that's good there too. Alright, so actually it wasn't, what did I say it was? Minus, it was minus 101, was it? Or something like that on the Zachary. I don't remember. I have to go back and check. But this one is minus 108 on sideband. Let's go back to AM really quick. I can try to refresh my memory. I'll turn the tone back on, put this back on the right frequency. Yeah, so that's minus 114 right there. So these come in about minus 113 or so, because we're adding 20 dB to that number. That's what I always forget to say. I think everybody knows the drill by now, but so there's your AM. The Zachary came in at like 2 dB down from this, so that's not too bad for an old radio. 2 dB down is perfectly fine by me. So the Zachary came in at like minus 111, so pretty good for an old rig. Not too shabby. So just got that hooked up yesterday for the first time. So alright, well, I'll get this heading off to Wyoming tomorrow for you, and I hope you enjoy it. 73.